I would like to address the question relating to strong emotions and attachment. I often consider myself as an unfortunate person because along with my sister, we fled from Vietnam as both people, and we didn't really have our parents with us. And so as a child growing up in this foreign country, I carried a lot of sadness and depression within myself as a child. And throughout my childhood, because I had those emotions often arising in me, I often continued to feed it. And I noticed that in my daily life, I continue to nurture those feelings of sadness and depression by watching movies that are very dramatic, that would often bring tears to my eyes, especially those Chinese movies, phim bố. And and sometimes it would bring tears to my eyes, but I continue to nurture that. And I also continue to listen to music that would also make me cry. You know, I would be attached to music that would really bring me down. And so I didn't realize that I was continuing to nurture my sadness and my depression. And I also, because I felt that I was not being loved, you know, by my parents, because I was separated from them from a very young age. And growing up, I've never had that love and care of my parents. And so I've often felt that I was abandoned, that I was neglected. And so with that feeling inside of me, I was never able to, because I did not really receive the love from my parents, I was never able to give that love to someone else. And so it was very difficult for me, and so I continued to withdraw myself, you know, from other people, because I was not able to love myself, I was not able to love other people. And so there was a big disconnection between myself and the world around me. I often isolate myself, and because I had also a strong personality of shyness within me, it was very difficult for me to make friends, and so I continued to nurture that. I only lived like within my own comfort zone, where I felt comfortable. And so throughout the years, you know, I continued to nurture that sadness and that depression within me, and I didn't really know that I was attached to my own suffering. And even when, you know, I mentioned about it, I continued to feed into it by thinking about it, and also each time that I nurture it, it strengthened that seed of sadness within me. But I didn't realize that until I came to this practice and ordained as a nun, that I realized that we all have seeds within us, you know, seeds of sadness, seeds of joy, seeds of happiness. But in my daily life, I continue to nurture seeds that were not so wholesome, seeds that would, you know, continue to nurture my sadness and my depression. I didn't realize that I was really just destroying myself by continuing to nurture those seeds. And so after learning that, I try to not water those seeds anymore. I try to cultivate joy in my daily life by looking at the conditions I currently have to nurture my joy. For instance, maybe taking walks in nature, or simple things like that continue to bring joy into my life, instead of continuing to be isolated and to nurture my sadness and my depression. And as I continue to practice to nurture joy, I felt that there was a balance between joy and happiness. Even though, the seeds of sadness and depression are still deep in me, I have learned that I will not water it. So by not watering it, it can just, lay to sleep in my consciousness. And at the same time, I try to water my seeds of joy so that the joy can just, outbalance my other seeds that are not so wholesome to my well-being. And so that's what I try to practice. And as I noticed that over the years, I don't really, even though the seeds of sadness or depression in me, and sometimes, it would be water through when I hear something or when I'm interacting with people, it waters it, but I just practice to be aware of it when it arises in me, but not to continue to let myself be carried away with the thoughts that are arising in us. So I think it takes training and practice just to acknowledge, those different seeds that are being watered in us, and then we practice not to let them carry us away. And at the same time, we try to water our wholesome seeds, our positive seeds, instead of being drowned with our unwholesome seeds. So that's my daily practice, so that I can be more joyful and happy as a person, because I know that along with our suffering, we also have happiness. And we do have a choice. All of us, we suffer, but we do have a choice in terms of how to respond to our suffering. We can choose to let our suffering drown us, or our sadness to drown us, but at the same time, if we choose to be happy, then we will not let that suffering drown us. So that's, I'd just like to share that.